Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well, and of course Arnie does too. Now in today's video I'll be going through 5 more of some of the largest saltwater fish in the world, and this is now number 4 in the series, so I've already been through 15 giant ocean fish. And for the first fish on the list, we'll head over to all tropical and warm temperate oceans worldwide, as we have the great hammerhead. Now the great hammerhead is the largest species of hammerhead shark, and hammerheads use their weird shaped head to find their prey, as all sharks have electroreceptors near the front of their face, and hammerhead sharks have them all along their hammer shaped head, and this means that they can cruise along the ocean bottom, detecting prey which is invisible to the naked eye. And this prey can be a large number of animals, as they're known to feed on other fish including other sharks, as well as cephalopods such as octopuses and squid, but their preferred food is stingrays. And as many stingray and flatfish species hide themselves underneath the sand, the hammerhead has the perfect tool to weed out these prey items. But feeding on these prey items can be quite dangerous, as many large great hammerhead sharks have been found with stingray and catfish barbs sticking out of their mouths. And this not only proves it's quite a hardy species, but also shows us that they have some immunity to stingray and catfish venom. And when it comes time to breed, a female great hammerhead shark will give birth to live young, and this can be anywhere from 6 to 42 pups. And as it's a larger shark species, they have quite a large lifespan, as they're thought to live up to 50 years old. And even though they're mostly focused on eating other fish and cephalopods, there have been 17 unprovoked attacks on humans by hammerhead sharks. But as it's difficult to distinguish among the species of hammerheads, it's not known if the great hammerhead is responsible for all of these attacks. But out of the 17 attacks, there were no fatalities, meaning that they're not intentionally going after humans. And humans are more of a danger to these sharks than the sharks are to us, as thousands of great hammerheads are killed every year for the global shark fin trade. And great hammerheads are especially targeted because of the size of their fins. And out of all the shark species, the great hammerhead's fins are known to be some of the most valuable. But if they do get to reach maturity, they really can become giants, as they're thought to reach a maximum size of around 6.1 meters or around 20 feet. And at this size they weigh around 450 kilograms or 991 pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's around the same weight as a Weddell seal or a polar bear. And that's a very respectable size for such a strange looking shark. But our next species can be found worldwide, but is most commonly found around the waters of Hawaii and West Africa, and it is the opah. Now this strange disc shaped fish is thought to spend its whole life in the open ocean, normally at depths from 50 to 500 meters. And in these waters they're known to feed on fish, cephalopods and other invertebrates. And not only is this a very unique looking fish, but also has a very unique anatomy, as it's the only known fully warm-blooded fish. And the opah generates this heat with continuous movements of its pectoral fins. And the area around its pectoral fins is insulated with a 1 centimeter thick layer of fat. And by constantly moving its pectoral fins in this way, it can keep its body temperature 5 degrees warmer than its environment. And even though they're mostly solitary, they are known to school with tuna. But this can be a very bad idea in some cases, as most fishermen tend to target tuna and catch the opah as bycatch. But as this species is normally found in deeper water, not much is known about them. But one thing we do know is they can get pretty large, as they're thought to reach a maximum length of around 2 meters or 6.6 feet. But because of their disc-shaped body, they can get quite heavy and are thought to weigh around 270 kilograms or 600 pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's around the same weight as a brown bear or Mediterranean monk seal. That's really not a bad size for a frisbee shaped fish. But for our next species we'll head over to the North Pacific Ocean, as we have the giant sea bass. Now this large fish is actually in the wreckfish family rather than the sea bass family, and this fish's colour changes as it matures, as juveniles are known to be a bright orange colour covered in black spots, whereas adults are a bluish black or even dark grey colour. And as you can probably tell from its large mouth and stocky body, it is an ambush predator, normally creeping up on its prey before hoovering them up in one motion. And this prey can be anything from fish, with some of the species targeted being mackerel, sheephead, sand bass and croakers, but they're also known to feed on crustaceans and octopuses. But the giant sea bass is known to be a very curious creature, and will often approach divers or investigate anything new in their environment. And the giant sea bass is a migratory fish, spending summer in the shallow waters before migrating towards deep waters in the winter. And they will undergo this migration many times in their lifetime, as they're thought to reach the grand old age of around 75 years old. And as they continue to grow throughout much of their lifetime, if you see a large giant sea bass, it's probably very old. And as they can grow so large, some of the only predators to this species are great white sharks and humans, as they're thought to reach a maximum size of around 2.5 meters or around 8.2 feet. And at this size they weigh around 255 kilograms or around 560 pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's around the same weight as a Brazilian tapir or a kulan. So even though it's not really a bass, it's a very interesting fish. But for our next species we'll be heading over to the Northeast Atlantic Atlantic and the Mediterranean, as we have the European Conger eel. Now this is one of the largest eel species in the world, and they can be found in both warm and cold water, as they can be found as far north as Norway and Iceland, and as far south as Senegal. And in these waters they're normally found at a depth of around 10 to 500 meters, but it's thought that they can go even deeper and dive down to depths of around 3,600 meters. And this giant eel is usually found around rough rocky areas where it likes to hide between the crevices. These holes are sometimes known as eel pits, and a large specimen will spend most of its day in these eel pits before eventually coming out at night to feed. And in the dead of night they're known to feed on fish, cephalopods and crustaceans, but they have also been sighted scavenging on dead, rotting fish. But conger eels are also known to be quite dangerous, as they can be quite fearless and have been known to attack divers. And this is especially dangerous as they have a habit of biting on while thrashing their body around, taking out chunks of flesh. And conger eels spend their whole life in salt water, and when it comes time to spawn, they descend to great depths, and after they spawn they die straight away. The larvae then drift northeastwards until they reach shallower waters. And despite its disturbing appearance, it is a highly valued food fish, and the meat is said to almost taste like pork. And because they're normally found in rocky areas, they're quite hard to fish for, and this may be the reason why they have quite a stable population in the wild. And before they make their final voyage to the deep oceans, they can reach some massive sizes, as they're thought to reach a maximum length of around 3 meters or 9.8 feet. And at this size they weigh around 72 kilograms or 160 pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's around the same weight as a babirusa or a Dall sheep. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to swim with a 3-meter conger eel. For our final species, we'll head to the Western Atlantic Ocean, as we have the Warsaw grouper. Now this species can be found as far north as Massachusetts and as far south as Brazil. And even though they can be found on reefs, they're known as a deep water grouper, as they're normally found on reefs on the continental shelf break, around 55 to 525 meters deep. And like all the other grouper species, they are an ambush predator, and in the deeper ocean reefs, they're known to feed on lobsters, crabs, shrimp and other fish. And although the adults are normally only found in deeper water, the prettier juveniles seem to spend their time in shallower, safer waters, away from some of the meaner predators in the ocean. And as they're harder to catch than some of the other shallow water groupers, they have quite a stable population. But one of the main threats to this species is habitat loss, as the warming oceans create coral die-offs, and deep water trawling also destroys their habitats. But when living in a healthy environment, they can reach some massive sizes, as they're thought to reach a maximum size of around 2.4 meters or around 8 feet long. And at this size, they're thought to weigh around 200 kilograms or 440 pounds. And to put that into perspective, that's around the same weight as an Australian sea lion or bottlenose dolphin. So even though it's not as large as some of the other groupers I featured in this series, it's still pretty impressive. But that's about it for this video. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for fish you want me to feature in this series down in the comments below. But thank you for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like these. And until next time, goodbye.